I'm gonna do a video later, but I want to explain why I'm gonna keep doing videos at times when it's hard for me to talk. There's a speaker, Bob Sorge, and he has a very hard time speaking, and he was a speaker that really encouraged me. And for me to not do videos when I struggle to talk, that's sending a horrible message to the world, telling people that if they struggle with stuttering or Tourette's or speaking, that they don't have a voice to be heard, or that they shouldn't be evangelists or in ministry, and that's just not the truth. And there's a lot of people out there that need to speak up and have a calling on their lives that may be hesitant because of their speaking abilities, or maybe embarrassed to do public speaking. But God uses you exactly where you're at, and if it takes you longer, or you gotta speak slower or softer, that doesn't matter. You still are called to speak. And a lot of most days it's very hard for me to talk, and I hadn't been doing videos ever during that time. And then I realized, Ashley, that's very wrong. Do videos in your weakness and your symptoms to encourage other people, because I have the luxury of going in and out of symptoms and being able to do videos when I could speak clear, but there's a whole world of people that don't have that luxury. So I want to be an encouragement to all of those people to still become speakers and surrender their lives to God, and for them to know that they still have a voice to be heard, and to still encourage them to do public speaking and videos and evangelism, and to not be held back by their disabilities. And people will still listen. You don't need to be charismatic. You don't need to be able to speak fast and clear. You could still get your message across and out there. And so many God-filled people out there don't get into public speaking or making videos or going public and on YouTube and whatnot, because they may be embarrassed or feel incapable because of how they talk. But that shouldn't ever hold you back, because you're wonderfully made, and the way you are is how God made you, and will use you exactly as you are. And as you surrender, He'll keep filling you with the Spirit, and you'll still be a vessel for Him, because there's nothing that can hold you back. I searched all over this morning for my book to read for you guys, but I couldn't find it. So later I'm gonna have Adam find it. I borrowed Greg's Walker, because even though the Lord enables me to walk without it, it's very short distance, and I could only stand about 10 to 15 minutes tops unless I have things to lean on. So it's best for me to have a walker and be able to go further distances to get more exercise in. And it's my pleasure this morning that I get to volunteer at the food giveaway that I do twice a month, sometimes 3 times. And this is a group that I get to bring up at my city council meeting. People line up 1 hour before and wait outside regardless the weather, and it's people in wheelchairs and walkers and disabled, and it's people that count on these drop-offs. And my mom, for a year now since I got sick, is one of the people that wait in line for the full hour to get these groceries in our house. So I'm one of the families that depend on them. So I love being able to be one of the volunteers helping support such a wonderful cause. So it's also great that I get to speak out when I'm speaking out about the hunger in Geneva, from personal experience and from also witnessing the line that goes all the way down the block, and just being able to have a lot of facts, not just speaking from personal experience, but being able to put a lot of facts to what I'm saying. So God's tying a lot of things together and opening a lot of doors for me to help bring change. And part of my struggle is such a blessing, because it's not about making change for myself anymore. It's about being thrown into a broken system that causes malnutrition, and now I have the results from my blood work this week to present them with, about how it raises your cholesterol. And the catch is you have to now be on a special diet to lower it. But with the food stamps and the food pantries, you would not be able to afford buying what you need to lower it, so it will keep going up, and that will keep causing other health issues, as well as the health issues that will cause will then trigger my neurological conditions, because it causes visual issues and dizziness and many other issues that high cholesterol causes. And when my body experiences pain or symptoms, it flares me up neurologically and keeps me sicker. But my story is not just my story, it's the story of thousands of people just right here in my town, all living off of a broken system. And there's 2 housing developments right here in Geneva that every single person in these 2 housing developments are on disability. So they're all going through the exact same suffering as I am. And one of them is, the people on disability, a lot of the disability, it's not just mental illness. It's, everyone I know, and I know a lot of the residents in the one building, they all are on chemotherapy and things like that. So they have very special diets they need and are dairy free or cholesterol or all certain things, and they can't afford on the food stamps and stuff what they need to eat to take better care of themselves, so they get sicker and sicker and are malnutritioned and not able to afford. And anyone who's dairy free, and if you're not dairy free, next time you're in the food store, look at what half a gallon of dairy free, lactate free milk costs. Look at what dairy free or gluten free products cost. People can't work and they can't get the nutrition, and we have so much waste with all the food being thrown out from the schools and from the restaurants and from the grocery stores and the Walmarts, all because of liability reasons. But we could get legal waivers to release them from any liability, and they care more about the possibility of getting sued, because it comes down to money, 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 than they do about feeding the hungry. So I want to make a big push for waivers to release liability so the food could go into the community, because many of these people all at a point in time were able to work before getting sick, and many of these people have stories very similar to mine, just all different illnesses but still the same outcome. So all different stories but all the same outcome. And I intend to go to every city council meeting forever now and keep speaking on every single issue, and to keep speaking up about the hunger in this town until change happens. And I have a keychain with a quote from Hamilton, which now I don't have a keychain because I don't drive anymore, but it is I want to be in the room where it happens, and the room where change happens is your city council town meetings. Those are the people that have the power to make change, but unless the people that live in the community speak up, they don't know what the community needs. So to see change, you have to be part of the change. So I thank God for this storm, for not only what it's done in my life and the life in my family and the restoration it's brought and the refinement in me and how it's changed me, but for this storm giving me the ability to help other people. And had I have lived my cushy life in corporate America, there would not have been one moment I'd have stopped and done any of this. So I keep thanking God. And he spoke to me about 10 years ago, telling me I would be helping the people that are the most hurt, and showed me what looked like a yearbook with tons and tons and tons of pictures, and keep speaking to me. And in order to help the people that are the most hurt, I had to experience it. I had to know what the people that are the most hurt are going through. The expression, walk a mile in my shoes. So I had to walk a mile in their shoes. I had to go through a prolonged period of it, see what it did to my health. Thank you very much, Billy, for watching. If you live in the Geneva area, go to the city town council meeting on the 3rd and sign up for every single one after. I will be signing up to speak at every single one moving forward. But this storm has been such a blessing, because not only have I gotten to experience the broken medical system, to be speaking on that. I get to be on TV in the United Kingdom. I don't know if I'm saying that wrong, but it's a F&D TV station to help other people on their journey with my disease. I also get to experience going through a year of malnutrition and having lab results of what it did to my cholesterol and the effects of that, and how just this malnutrition could lead to stroke and affect all these people's health and make their health conditions much, much worse. But on top of that, this disease is the symptoms of 16 different diseases or more. So I could relate to people, seniors, and people with Alzheimer's and dementia and autism and everything, Parkinson's, MS, full body RA, you name it, paralyzation, wheelchairs, everything. So when God said, you're going to be helping the people that are the most hurt, I didn't know what he meant at the time, but now it's my honor to have walked through all these different things, that even as I meet children, because I operate out of my theta brain quite a bit, I'm able to speak to them on their level, and it's like they know when I'm in my kid brain. I just have kids constantly just walk up to me and start talking to me like I'm one of them, and I have groups of kids that will just surround me and just start talking to me everything in life and telling me their secrets and things going on, and collecting rocks with me. And Adam's watched me a couple times, and he's like, I could tell when you're talking to them, you're on their level, and it's true. I spend time in my theta brain that I am literally a child with the mental capacity and emotional capacity, and I'll speak like one and feel like one, and times I'm a teenager, and times I'm an adult, and times I'm super autistic or can't speak at all. And it's been a crazy year that I would never, ever, ever take back, And anybody that logged on to this video late, I would encourage you to watch from the beginning, because even though it's long, it might pertain to you. But it's been great being able to, I started my videos in November. My whole path of recovery and detox and everything, I've been able to do a video almost every single day. So my YouTube channel has 101 videos in no order, no titles, just randomly going through everything, getting through it all. And I wanted that to go out to everyone with chronic illness, and just be an encouragement, and how to get through it and all. But this storm has been the greatest blessing of my entire life, and I can't wait to get through this year and be back in health. And I know where God is taking me, and to be just such a mountain mover and a vessel of God. And I always tell Mom, like, I'm going to stay rogue. I'm never joining any organizations or becoming part of anything, because I always want to be 100% authentic. I always want to be able to speak all the words God's saying to me, and never feel like I have to censor myself. And, Mom's like, Ashley's rogue. And yeah, once you're part of anything, there is censorship or expectations or, whatever. And I don't ever want to run past anything I say or do with anyone, right? I want to be an influence in different political groups or religious groups or, medical groups and stuff, but I want to stay independent and, that's my plan. But my doctor looked at me crazy when I told him I'm going on a missions trip in Africa. And he said, yeah, but what if something happens when you're there? And I said, well, I'm going to be there with Jesus. So I got my first appointment with a neurologist. I haven't had any help with my illness in a year now since I got sick. So it'll be my very first time seeing a neurologist, September 16th. And God put me into the hands of the right doctor. And my doctor and my neurologist are literally 2 doors apart. And he's just orchestrating everything. And he's like, Ash, it's go time. And it felt like I was just on the verge of getting right back into a wheelchair. And, something that's going to be really great. I was pretty upset. Someone sent me birthday money and I bought a walker, and it was one I could get through the dirt with, and it had 3 wheels, and it was only 7 pounds, so I could get up and down the stairs. And someone stole it. But personally, I think it was my stalker, because I know they knew I would figure it out, because they unzipped the basket and left my little Jesus figurine. But, I'm fine that it was stolen, because the Lord sees everything and knows everything. And the outcome of that was Phyllis just passed away a couple months ago, and I'm actually getting her walker. And it's gonna give me such a sense of power and just make me think of her and her spirit. And she was such a fighter, and one of the most feistiest, fire-filled women I've met in my life. And she had been in a wheelchair since she was my age. And my mom was her home health aide 7 days a week for years. So getting my walker stolen just now, this week we pick up her walker. So every day when I leave my apartment and I walk with her walker, it's just going to push me to walk further and harder, and, really fill me up with that Phyllis spirit to just push myself harder. And, I know now that I'm going to walk faster and harder and heal quicker, and I'm just going to be thinking about her smiling down from heaven and saying, you go, girl. And they say it takes 2.5 days to recover for every day you're in bed. And it's been about a year that I've been 90 to 80% bedridden, and still currently am. But having her walker and the fire that's going to put in me, and finally getting to a neurologist to learn how to use my brain now. I only have access to the right side of my brain, and had to recreate all new neurotransmitters. My brain no longer controls my peripheral nervous system, which controls everything in your brain and body, right? So to have an actual neurologist to help me retrain my brain and gain control, because up until now, every bit of healing has been through Jesus and prayers, lots and lots and lots of prayers. So this is just the cherry on top, and this next year is all good things. Hey, Todd. I was literally, Todd, you're gonna have to watch this video from the beginning, because I was just saying how using Phyllis's walker is gonna increase my healing by like 1,000,000%, because every single time I walk now, I'm just gonna have her feistiness and her in my head, like, you go, girl. And when I feel like I can't go another mile, I'm just gonna see her face like, yes you can. And I'm just gonna push myself harder and faster and more than I ever would using my walker, and it's just gonna expedite my healing. And God is so good, because I would have never pushed myself as hard if I didn't have that. Now every time I'm gonna be like, when I feel like I can't do it, I'm just gonna have her in my head like, yes, the hell you can. And so in the natural, it would take 2.5 years to get to just the level I was at before getting sick. Not jacked, not looking like I'm in shape, just a regular, unfit 38-year-old woman, right? But because I'm gonna have just that fire, right? It's not gonna take me 2.5 years. I'm gonna do it in a year, and I'm gonna be ready for Africa, right? Because the cabin pressure, and it's a whole day travel. It's the very, very, very top of Africa. Takes 24 hours to get there, and the cabin pressure and my bone pain, it would be horrific effects on my body. So I need to build a ton of muscle for the Lord to get me there. But the very first missions trip I wanted to go on since I was a little girl was Africa. And my whole life, I always saw me in my 40s doing missions work in Africa. That's always been, I want to go around the world. But when I met Adam, I was at the point that past 3 o'clock, I couldn't even get to the bathroom by myself. My legs would completely not work, and he'd have to physically get me to the bathroom. So every day he'd get off work and just come to literally bring me to the bathroom and go home, whatever. But yeah, past 3 o'clock, my legs wouldn't work. So unless someone came over to take me in my bathroom, I'd have to hold it to the next day. And that didn't actually, it went up to 6 o'clock about 3 months ago, and then it got up to like 8 o'clock. But there'd be a couple days here and there that I'd get a spurt of energy at night. But anyway, when he met me, I was so sick, right? It was just like 3 months after I got sick, and I couldn't even stand for more than like a minute, if that. And I looked at him and I said, here's what you need to know. I'm going to be very, very famous, and I'm going to be traveling the whole world. Are you okay with that? And he's like, okay. And I was like, all right, well, that's what you yearn for. And he's like, okay, you know. So I know those things are going to happen, and so God's going to give me the strength and the healing to do those things, to carry out the calling. But he makes you accept your calling before getting you ready. But when you accept your calling, when you're not prepared and in the natural, you're like, Lord, are you seeing what I'm seeing right now? Because that's seeming a little unrealistic. You know, then you just remember the promises from the Lord, and you remember he's the Lord of the impossible. So I'm going to have my Rocky music going and just push through the pain, because every day you choose to stay in bed because of the pain is another 2.5 days you're going to be sicker. So you could fight through the pain now, or you could prolong your recovery, prolong your bedriddenness, you know. So you gotta fight really, really hard and fight through the pain and keep going, or you're gonna get to the point that you are gonna be in a wheelchair, that you are gonna be sicker for years, that you are gonna be putting off being the best version of yourself, the best mom you could be, the best partner you could be, you know. So you just gotta fight right through it and keep going. But I gotta go. I gotta get to that food thing. Bye, guys. Thanks for watching, too.